Hello! Welcome! Today we're going to learn about the research process. Alright, so in the research process, and I'm going to model this for you today, we're going to do the following four things. First of all, we're going to pick a topic on a social issue. Then we're going to begin researching until you have a base of knowledge. We'll continue by choosing the best of the best from those sources that you've just researched. 3 sources are required for your paper, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, we will apply the WW framework to each source. Don't worry, there will be a little bit of time later on where we'll talk about the WW framework. So let's get started. Okay, so the research process. Number 1, pick a topic on a social issue. Well, let's think. There are different social issues, and some of the social issues that you can talk about are dealing with peer pressure, managing raging teenage hormones, or how to say no, or dating in the new millennium, making good decisions, preventing suicide for a teenage audience, preventing suicide for a teenage audience who are not considering suicide, preventing suicide for an adult audience, combating hate crimes, stamping out bullying, learning mediation skills, so how to stop people from fighting or how to calm people down, promoting diversity, preventing violence in our school, or preventing violence in our community. If these topics don't sound appealing to you, you may also pick a topic that is not on this list. For example, today, since I don't want to give you all the research process for one of these, which you may use, I am going to pick a random social issue that currently affects people in the Midwest in the United States, so it could affect us in this classroom too, today. That topic is one that I am not too familiar with, but is something that I saw in a newspaper article the other day, considered a social issue. So I'm going to write that down now. It's colorism. Colorism. And so, since I don't know too much about the topic, let's start the research process. This part of it, and you will see an authentic, meaning a real research process of me going through and figuring out what the core of the issue is. This is going to be how I begin having that base of knowledge. A base is something that you have an understanding of what kind of the key things of this issue is, of this issue, the key items from this issue, what those things are, and also you would be able to talk about it on more than a basic level. So a base of knowledge means that you have a good understanding and would be able to come up with research questions, hint, hint, about your topic. So before you determine what your best of the best sources are, the ones that you're going to use for your paper, you need to do research first to find a base of knowledge, meaning you're not only scanning these sources for validity, but you're also soaking up information to help you think through how you would write your paper. Let's get started. So I'm going to go to Google, and since I saw this in an article from the New York Times, what I'm going to do is let's start at the very basic level. Let's type in colorism. I searched it once. Okay, so we have the Wikipedia site. Okay, I'll open it up. I'll see what it's about. Let's look at race relations at about.com. Oh, it looks like it's about the color of people's skin, and it looks like it's black people in America, because this says, Dear Hollywood, how did Nina Simone go from looking like this to looking like this? So this is not credible, but this is just kind of to understanding, will black women continue to be erased? So this is not credible. I'm not going to use this. What's this? Is a cover of Time magazine. Yes, I'm black. Soledad O'Brien is not tripping off you haters. Duh, black people are every shade. Well, that looks like it's fake. Look, the date's wiped out of it. That looks like it's fake. Okay. Yeah, none of these images look. It looks like it's about women of color. Okay, so it could be. See how they're changing Beyonce's skin tone color? That may have something to do with it. Most of these images, though, aren't really helping me figure out if this is just about women of color or if it's affecting other races. Because now I'm realizing colorism has to do with races and also the color of people's skin. And so now we have four different races here, but I'm not entirely sure if that's what the issue deals with. So now that I've kind of gotten a graphic representation of just the basic understanding of colorism, I still don't know anything really about the issue yet by looking at those. And I can't use any of those for a source because that has no validity. But it's okay to look at them to kind of gain an understanding of what you would be dealing with. Okay, so colorism, Huffington Post. Huffington Post normally doesn't have too many bad things. How colorism affects people around the world, an Oprah Winfrey video. Let's see what this is. How colorism affects people around the world. Well, I see there's an advertisement over here for a credit card with no annual fee. Let's look at the bottom of the site. So this is Oprah's actual website. Okay, maybe it'll load now. Let's watch this as a primer on what this issue is. Maybe it'll help us.
They're cloudy.
Oh, great.
Stall them. Stop stalling. Cascade Platinum fights cloudy residues 3 times better than
Well,
the
this
competing
site
gel
has
and helps
advertisements
keep your
too.
dishwasher sparkling.
So maybe it's
Cascade
not the
Platinum.
best in the world, but at least it's going to give me some information. Typically, Oprah's life class, she is a pretty
Iyama says
intelligent
there
woman.
is
So.
one destructive and deep-rooted issue that she often finds in her work, because this is an issue that wreaks havoc, particularly in the African American community, but in other communities as well.
In Latin communities, in Asian Indian communities, and even, I understand.
Did you guys hear that? Latin communities, Asian Indian communities. This has just helped me solidify that this is not just about African Americans, blacks. Okay, excellent.
And in some of the Southern Asian, whether it's Chinese, Vietnamese, the issue of
Colorism. Colorism, it's called.
Oh, so it's also Asian people of Asian nations or Asian affiliation. Okay, cool.
Is the light skin, dark skin prejudice where people of color discriminate against each other within their own race. Now, you may have seen the documentary called Dark Girls. Did you all see that? Very good. Will do.
Okay. Whoa, light bulb. Colorism is where people of whatever race you are, of your own race, discriminates against other people of your own race. And now I need to look for this documentary, Dark Girls. Dark Girls. So I'm going to write that down just on a piece of paper so that I am not missing that documentary. So I just wrote down Colorism and then Dark Girls documentary. I'm sorry I won't do this all the time, but this is how I research. This is how I think. Okay.
A few months ago on OWN, and it generated one of the biggest online discussions we've ever had. And it really boils down to the belief that the lighter your skin tone, the prettier you are, the smarter you are,
more valuable and worthy.
True. And the easier you have it, that's the perception. So colorism has been around for a very long time. Where did it come from?
Well, its roots are really and go all the way back to slavery, where the slave women were bred and created children, and the children became lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And that the mother herself was often left out in the field, and she therefore became a field hand, I'll say hand, and the lighter women were taken into the house to serve the mistress, to take care
And
of
the
the
lighter
children.
women, they were lighter because everybody came over as Africans.
That's right.
And as brown-skinned Africans, dark,
brown
black
skinned
Africans.
African Americans today are so far removed from that reality till they don't even recognize the lasting cellular and genetic impact that it still has on us. That we still have colorism, light skin, dark skin, you're better than, more worthy than. They don't even,
And you're better than because the closer you are to being white,
yes,
the better you are.
Oh my gosh. You talk about, I wish there was an Oprah's Life class for all of these social issues, because that just broke down what colorism was, basically in a nutshell, very effectively. So now, because now I have a basic understanding that colorism is the idea that the lighter your skin tone is, the more valuable or worthy you are. And it said in that video, that woman, I don't know if she's credible or not, so I can't quote her or anything, but at least to have a basic understanding, to continue my research, I can understand that the roots are from slavery, so different types of slavery around the world, and darker colored skin types bred with slave owners, or lighter skinned slave people of the house, in the house, and then the people who started to work in the house as slaves became lighter and lighter and lighter, and lighter became more valuable, lighter became prettier, lighter became the ideal, because the people of power in that time were lighter. So understanding that, now I can look at the Huffington Post, or we'll save Wikipedia for the last. But let's look at the Huffington Post up here. So remember, we went to colorism, and right above this it said Huffington Post colorism. This is the Huffington Post part. And so these are the kinds of articles that are out here now. And this one is, here, I'll zoom in for you so you can definitely see this. But this one was from the 9th, 2014. It's by Donovan Thompson. I don't normally date dark-skinned men. Colors in the black community. That's not necessarily where my topic's going right now, but interesting idea. Why Tika Sumpter loves her dark skin. Tyler Perry cast her as a cunning vixen, and he purposely chose an intelligent... We'll read that, because that's from January. How you may be playing into colorism without realizing it. Oh, that's definitely... I want to read that. That sounds interesting. Oh, is this from the same life class? Maybe it'll be a larger article here in a second. Studies claim people remember educated black men as lighter skinned. Oh, that's interesting. That's controversial, right? People remember educated black men as lighter skinned than they were. Oh, let's read that. Okay, 10 messages of wisdom we need to give black youth right now. Let's see what that is. 2 light-skinned black women detail the prejudice they face. Oh, definitely. So do you see all of this? This is research, building the base of knowledge first, then gleaming information and using only the most useful sources after. And I'm sure you do this, but I just want to make sure that, oh, the secret shame of colorism, that you understand that this process takes some time, and you have to be reading all the time. Not cast in color, dispelling myths in our classrooms. Murali Balaji, okay. Hinduism. So maybe this is going to give a more diversified. Colorism has turned out is deeply rooted issue within the Indian diaspora, which is people from India. So not caste, and that's talking about the caste system in India in color. Okay, a black mother's prayer, Dominican colorism. Well, actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll read this too, and we'll read Dominican colorism. What to never say to a dark-skinned girl. Okay. So at this time, we're going to end our first segment, which was kind of getting the base of information. Now we're going to look at specifically these different websites up here to further expand our base of knowledge and then choose our